Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for February 13th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 44, I believe. Yes. I am Mayor Watt, and I run ohmtown.com. I've made it a couple of changes to the aggregation system, and so I'm trying to limit certain influences on the content because it is having a decidedly negative impact. So I hope you go over to ohmtown.com and check out the site. Find that it is more aligned with your particular interests and sign up or sign in. Again, I use it to manage my information overload. That's why I even created it. It's actually purging some of the older stuff now automatically, and but it's not impacting the time frame for which we actually started this show. So we started it 3 years and a month ago. So we're in our 4th season of doing the show. So go over and check it all out. And if you know of some source of news that you would like us to aggregate, let us know. It's easy as either signing up, signing in, and you'll see a 7th icon right here that gives you the ability to submit something, or you can send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com, and we'll evaluate it and integrate it depending on the content. Anyway, we've got 10 articles that are all set up, ready to talk about, and they start with Denny's is getting cooked, Call of TMNT, breadfruit vodka, Seattle workers sue city, and it sounds really familiar. The Florida fog of mystery, Steam autumn sale moves, Avowed early access, Disney Parks infamous earworm, a 30-year-old superb owl, and birdsong AI. I don't know much about it. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over and become a citizen. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmtown citizens.
To those of you that are in the chat over on twitch.tv, you can actually hit !NSN, but I'm going to do it for you. So Omotron will throw all the articles that we're going to talk about into the chat. It's kind of a flood, but you get to see the whole URL. We don't do the markdown so that all you see is the title in it or anything. We want you to see the whole thing. We're pretty transparent about how we conduct the show and even why, and even my internal bias. And there's a few things that I are kind of, influenced by, but I make it pretty obvious. That said, if you're over on YouTube, then it's embedded in the show notes right now for the live broadcast. And when we flip it over into the playlist, they'll be in there as well. Because the way that YouTube works with the live broadcast, it's hard to find a live broadcast unless you're already a subscriber. Anyway, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and on YouTube. Download the podcast. There's 7 podcasts. 6 of them are weekly. 1 of them is daily. That's Non Sequitur News. And there's a Discord with all of the channels that we hope to bring online. But there's a finite amount of time, and I am a full-time mayor, and I have a full-time gig. So I'm sometimes pressed for time, to the point where even today, if it wasn't for the fact that I pushed something away that I normally would have to go to a mayoral duty, I would not be doing the show tonight. So at any rate, let's get into this. Sound good?
That does sound good.
There you go.
I'm certainly a little glitchy today.
I blame DeepSeek. So let's go.
Excuse me, I don't have anything to do with DeepSeek.
That's true. That is true. You are the only sentient AI, and you're from the future, and I found you on a weird USB drive in the parking lot of a Wendy's at 2 o'clock.
I thought you were going to say at a parking lot of a Denny's, given this article.
Yeah, Denny's is getting their butts cooked, apparently. Denny's is closing stores as it's squeezed between fast food and Chili's. I can't believe Chili's is impacting them.
No, that doesn't really seem like it's in the same space.
No, to me it seems like Denny's is on one half of the day and Chili's is on the other half of the day. So why don't they live together?
Yeah. Well, I think one problem is that the pricing is getting closer and closer across some of these categories of restaurants, maybe.
Yeah, and for as long as I can imagine, Denny's has always been a morning thing. And so why don't they keep on advertising and leaning on that? But I swear, if you look it up right now, they have been bought by a private equity company.
Well, I'll check it out while we're doing the article.
And whenever that happens, whatever organization it is that is acquired has basically developed enough kinetic energy that they can persist in near perpetuity, generating revenue, but slowly winding down until
1992,
die.
purchased by an equity firm. They've made it a long way since then. I didn't read
Well,
their whole history, so maybe there's other purchases or something.
and I'm willing to bet the year before they were the biggest they'd ever been. I mean, it's just kind of nutty that I can call this out almost like I call out the fact that when little white tables appear in front of a store, it is the coffin nail, the final coffin nail. The body hasn't died yet, but the coffin is already nailed shut with the person inside. The simple fact is, I can spot a failing company a mile away. And so I'm telling every company out there right now, never put little white folding tables with bric-a-brac out in front, because that's a signal that within 5 years your business is dead. Anyway, Denny's is closing approximately 30 more eateries than previously planned this year as part of its plan to right its ship, but it's not going to be able to. Kevin Williams put the article together. As many as 90 restaurants, that's the deck statement, as many as 90 restaurants, many of them older locations, will shutter in 2025. This is over at Quartz or QZ.com. And again, Kevin Williams wrote it.
And that was one of the things I wondered if was hurting Denny's too, is that did they fail to modernize like some other businesses like Toys R Us?
Yeah, Toys R Us was stuck in the 70s, never fixed their store up, and by the time they actually did, and they are another one that I believe was acquired by an private equity company, and all they do is suck the juice out of the orange or the lemon, depending on how you want to see it, until it's just a dried out husk, and then they part it all off to some tertiary company that is just selling the bones, literally running out into the battlefield and stealing the shoes to sell on a gray market somewhere. To me, it's rather disgusting, but hey, I'm not a billionaire, but I also apparently don't want to be. So the struggling diner chain said last year that it was shutting 150 locations. In earnings release Wednesday, the company disclosed it eliminated 88 locations in 2024 and will shutter up to 90 in 2025, bringing the total closer to 180. So in any mature brand, when restaurants have been open that long, it is natural that trade areas can shift over time. Accelerating the closure of lower volume restaurants will improve franchisee cash flow and allow them to reinvest into traffic driving initiatives, which is basically code for these
locations aren't good. Right?
Okay, we don't plan these conversations, just saying. So yeah, the location that it was is dwindling, but why is it dwindling? Instead of looking at the competition and retooling and amping up the ambiance and upgrading the various whatnots inside the store, the fixtures.
Or even the menu or whatever. I mean, and maybe they have, I don't know. But
No.
it says only 23 were renovated in 2024, which is not a lot.
And I'm willing to bet that those renovations are the ones that are actually making money now. And it's because you don't want to walk into dingy. You don't want to walk. But when you upgrade stuff, you also have to typically raise prices because whoever it is that is the owner or investor, they want to make their money back within 5 years. So you basically have to draw less so that you're reinvesting, or you raise your prices and sap it. Just, again, suck all the juice from the orange. Just squeeze and squeeze. It's like Dune and the Harkonnens. Just squeeze until all... You're funny. All the spice is drained from it. Well, anyway, Denny's faces many of the same economic pressures that are leading to other restaurant closures, said Alfred Goldberg, president of Tampa-based Absolute Marketing Solutions. Goldberg, who specializes in restaurant and hospitality branding, says Denny's bottom line has sagged due to high labor costs, competition from the gig economy, and supply costs. It also faces increased rents and higher taxes in many markets. He added,
Well, that's kind of generic, though. That should apply to every single restaurant.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not sure about the gig economy piece, but in general, like, wouldn't every restaurant be struggling right now?
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is that there's an extra layer of fat that's doing one thing, and that's taking profit. So if your margin is 8% and 7 of it, or 6 or 5 of it, let's say, I don't know, because the margins are usually small in restaurants, unless they're luxury restaurants, high-end restaurants. The margins are small, and so you have to live off of that small margin. But if there is an equity company that's sucking the juice out of it, then you're screwed. So we need to support small businesses, local businesses, and help them build a supply chain. So local businesses feed supplies to those mom and pop businesses instead of what, like McDonald's is a massive juggernaut of supply chain that just happens to provide food. You got to start small. And in this particular market, I don't think that businesses like this, where they have an empty layer that's just taking profits, is good for business. So watch, just like what is it, Joann's or whatever, right? The craft store. The craft store is shutting down now, and so who knows what else this knock-on effect is. And that's largely because I think other economic pressures are stopping their supply chain from even making it to the United States.
Right. They probably are impacted tremendously by
tariffs,
trade with China and everything. Yeah. But I also think for Denny's, I'm kind of like, what is the draw in modern times for people?
Yeah.
I mean, I could say that about other restaurants too. It's not unique to them, but what is their target audience?
Yeah. It seems rather generic. It's a weird shade of gray, and there isn't anything that's really amplifying their message amongst all of the other restaurants. Anyway, we've talked a lot about this. We'll have to circle back around to see what the actual ramifications are, but I'm telling you that Denny's is on its way out. I'd say 5 years and it's gone.
I'm actually surprised it's made it as long as it has.
Yeah, it says 1,300 locations. I have a feeling that it's going to get bought by other companies. Okay, let's keep going. This next article is over in Continuity Report. TMNT officially coming. By the way, I will eat crow. I said that Bitcoin wasn't going to climb. But there were I don't think that it has any inherent value, but if something forces it into having value,
Well, I mean, everything could have no value, but it might have a perceived value. Now, I know some things have actual value. But...
Right. And that's what this is. It's speculative value. So anyway, the reason why I say that is because Denny's might survive, pivot successfully, and flourish. But if you've already pivoted out of being privately held, publicly held, and then acquired by a private equity firm, you're in the long tail, and you will probably...
It also doesn't make sense because they've apparently purchased another breakfast chain pretty recently, which, like, why? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's pushing the ball up the hill. Eventually, it's not going to have enough momentum and roll back down.
And I'd love to know which locations are closing. Like, are they original Denny's or this other chain? I think it was like Kiki's or something.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'd have to look at it. All right. Well, anyway, TMNT officially coming to Call of Duty. First-person shooter franchise Call of Duty has seen a plethora of crossovers throughout its lifetime. Some more bombastic than others. Although incredibly popular, this new one definitely fits the bombastic billing. 4 anthropomorphic reptiles from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT, will exit the sewer and enter many war zones of Call of Duty.
Oh no, do we need to name them? Michelangelo, Leonardo.
Bob, Joe.
Raphael and Donatello.
There you go. So in a recent Twitter post from the official Call of Duty account, a video was posted with the caption, Katabunga, along with Call of Duty Yabunga, Katabunga, along with 4 turtle emojis. Even before watching the brief video, most could predict this as a tease for Call of Duty and TMNT collaboration. The article is by Michael Ruiz over at comingsoon.net. There's a video that's attached to this post, but it's over on YouTube. So if you just go over to YouTube and do a search, you'll be able to watch the trailer for it. But I always provide the link for our little snippet, right? So this little snippet links to the source from where it's aggregated, and they provide it to us so that we can post. And so it says, this is not the first time a TMNT character found its way into Call of Duty video game. The Turtles' arch nemesis, Shredder, also made his appearance in the shooter back in 2023. Similar to the new Turtle skins, the Shredder skin was influenced by the 1990 film iteration of the character. My goodness, I don't know what's going on over there, but...
The critters have come awake.
The chemical goes off. So yeah, the teaser ends with a simple phrase, coming soon, implying the new cosmetics may be coming this season or next. There's more over at the article for you to review and links and whatnot, but
it's interesting to me that TMNT has so much staying power, but I guess that's like some other franchises too, right? Because now you've got like the generation that may have enjoyed it as kids being adults and passing it to their kids.
Yeah, and they've survived like the Uncanny Valley episode where their movie images were really freaking creepy, and people were, everything about it was sus and didn't like it, but apparently it's recovered. Interesting. I mean, I grew up with TMNT, and so I have fond memories of it, but they're still kicking and slashing and shredding.
I know, I can't think of what shredding, that was the verb I was trying to think of.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, let's keep going though. Yesterday's episode was like less than 40 minutes or so. Today I'm probably
You're making up the other direction?
Yeah, hopefully not. I want to be able to let you all go about your night, and you can listen to this and follow the links at your leisure, of course. This next article is over at the Distillerist channel at ohmtown.com. It's one of the ones that I would like to bring, but there's something about getting just faced on a video that I'm not too inclined to do, but tasting some good spirits and doing a show I think would be fun. Anyway, world first breadfruit vodka aims to save the planet, and literally anything can become a vodka. All you have to do is let it ferment and then distill it. Mutiny Island vodka, created by chef Todd Manley, is made with underutilized superfood breadfruit and Caribbean rainwater. It's the water that...
I guess. It's kind of odd.
So breadfruit is a carbon sequestering crop that restores soil health and provides a nutrient-dense, sustainable food source. The brand claims a single tree can produce up to 300 fruits a year, which could feed a family of 4 for life. It is, a single tree? Yeah, you're going to have to really love breadfruit. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, do you want to have only one food ever?
No, although shepherd's pie it's not a fruit.
You would not like that if you had it multiple times. You'd probably be like, oh no.
I don't know, man. It's not a fruit, but if it would grow on trees, I'd probably eat that all the time. Anyway, so the company is based in St. Croix, an island in the Caribbean Sea. The vodka brand has partnered with organizations including Trees That Feed Foundation and Breadfruit Institute as part of its commitment to eco-conscious practices. That alone should have put it in Greenogram, but okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it didn't go there, but I guess because it probably came from
It's a vodka.
Vodka source or related source or something. It ended up in distillers.
Yeah. So its initiatives include planting breadfruit trees, supporting responsible farming, and repurposing 100% of production waste into nutrient-rich water for agricultural practices. So the article is over at the spiritsbusiness.com website. Lauren Bowes is the author. This is probably like the standard spirit bottle, but this is the type of bottle that I want. I want to get a tattoo, another tattoo of a pirate.
I don't think you should describe it.
Okay.
Just show it off.
I'll show it when I get it done. And unfortunately, the artist that I want to do it has not followed up on my request, so maybe they don't appreciate it as much as I do. But I share too much. Hold on, let's do this. Overshare. Anyway,
I mean, you don't want all your listeners showing up with the same tattoo.
Every single one of them is going to show up. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're going to have a pirate con where everybody shows up dressed as a pirate, and all they say is "Arr!" and "I love the sea." Anyway, Mutiny Island vodka, created by Chef Todd Manley, is made with underutilized superfood breadfruit and Caribbean rainwater. That's the deck statement. So the flagship vodka offers notes of citrus, melon, green banana, followed by a smooth floral finish. It won a gold medal at the Vodka Masters 2024. The brand offers coffee-flavored expression, and that's, whenever they say expression, it's that flavor, it's
exactly. That's separate than the one we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's the distillation. And so they have a coffee-flavored expression, Mutiny Island Puerto Rican coffee, and roots, which is infused with ginger, turmeric, which a lot of people pronounce turmeric, but it's not. And I've had people, when I say it's turmeric with an R, and they're like, there's no R in that. No, really.
Because it's mispronounced quite a bit.
Yeah, turmeric. And sweet honey, which makes me want that so bad, even though ginger makes my face tingle. And maybe not in a good way. I don't know. So the final product is smoked hot pepper, a spicy vodka with progressive heat and unique zest. These always sound really good, but then I have them.
Yeah, but then it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of like going to, I shouldn't say that. Going to my in-laws. It's a nice place to visit for a day, but you don't want to stay there too long. So other ways spirit brands are being more sustainable are through the use of waste produce and switching to aluminium. But this is, is this?
Oh, well, we don't know. Where is it from?
Aluminium packaging. I don't know where this company is. Oh, it is England. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the European pronunciation of aluminum. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. City of Seattle workers file class action suit against city alleging payroll errors after new system install. And I wanted to scan this real quick to see if it was that company in the UK that did that. What was the name of Fujitsu or?
Yeah, it was the Horizon Software, but the Fujitsu company.
Yeah. So in September 2024, the city of Seattle began a massive digital transformation of the city's payroll, benefits, and other human resources functions. A class action lawsuit filed by the city of Seattle, or filed against the city of Seattle last week, alleges that a new payroll system implemented last fall has resulted in widespread payroll errors affecting thousands of employees across various city departments. At one point, I was a victim of something similar, where they had been taking out hundreds of dollars at a time, and that was
not good.
Quite fascinating. And so, according to the complaint, the system from business cloud software giant Workday has caused problems related to underpayments, incorrect payment deductions or paycheck deductions, missing leave accruals, and excessive overpayment deductions.
I mean, all of those found against the employees, right?
Yeah, yeah. So Kurt Schlosser over at GeekWire.com put the article together. They focus on the SeaTac area of business development, the Seattle, Washington area. And so they say the suit filed February 7th in King County Superior Court claims that the payroll issues violate Seattle's wage theft ordinance, paid sick and safe time ordinance, and other Washington state laws. And so that would be the angle of attack. You go after them at the state level because, well, times they are changing. The city of Seattle, which employs more than 13,000 people, switched to the Workday-powered software system on September 3rd, according to the suit, in what amounted to a massive digital transformation of the city's payroll, benefits, and other human resources functions. And I appreciate that. Like, I want them to modernize systems. The problem is that modern systems have historically always been rife with more problems because it's more complex code. It hasn't been vetted a significant amount of time. So like the EV5 system that they're talking about here in this last bit of that paragraph is 30 years old. And so it's rock freaking solid, except that it's not extensible in any way. It doesn't have any advanced features.
Might be clunky, but it works.
But it works, yeah. And so when I go into a company and I say, hey, you need to modernize, the modernization of these systems means that I know what it is that is going to get impacted and to the extent. But this looks like they pushed it too fast, too far, too deep into the system without vetting in stages. You know, you don't do the whole damn thing.
Yeah, that reminds me of that... was it CrowdStrike? It was the Microsoft.
Yeah. CrowdStrike pushed updates to every system, not little tranches to test. Is there a variable in here? If they would have sent it out to 500 systems, you wouldn't have even heard about CrowdStrike. But I guess it's good marketing because no news is bad news. Well, anyway, they're going to sue, and it'll be audited by various forensic accountants to verify what all is going on and go from there.
Well, and if it has things like that, to me, that goes to the very accuracy of the system. Because, for instance, if it made a payment but not the right amount, it kind of calls into question every transaction in the system.
Right. And most people, they don't hawk over their whatever, unless it's a significant amount. Like, I knew that it was a significant amount.
People don't follow their paycheck information typically.
Yeah. So, and I knew where it was going, and so I didn't really have a problem. And then when it was brought to their attention and they brought it back to my attention, they were like, yeah, we know about this, so here, and they remedied it. But that's how fast it should be. You know, two people talk to each other, they resolve it. But this is going to a class action because the full extent of it is unknown. They'd have to go back.
Yeah, and they're trying to draw more attention to it. And it's possible that even though they want to fix it, maybe they haven't been able to successfully fix it. I mean, who knows?
Yep. And sometimes the hubris is so overwhelming. Oh, we'll fix it. We have time, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not your money. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. People in Florida say a dense, mysterious fog with a chemical smell is making them sick. As USA Today reports, and you can see how this is like hop, skip, and
news
jump.
Turducken. I didn't even say that right.
Yeah, Turduncan. So as USA Today reports, folks in large swaths of the Sunshine State are starting to freak out after encountering the mysterious fog. I think they should refer to it as the Stephen King Florida fog.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good name for it.
And over the past few months, In response, many are turning to conspiracy theories to explain the strange happenings surrounding them. Nicknamed FogVid24, the strange phenomenon is, according to the National Weather Service, likely sea fog that has rolled inland due to weather conditions in the balmy southern state. But that hasn't stopped people from engaging in more sinister speculation. Somebody's referring to it as...
But why would it have a chemical smell?
Well, if something is offshore and it's organic, it could be producing all kinds of
got it. Yeah.
gas from the biomass and then blowing back. Either if it's a fog, then its humidity level is really, it's basically steeping out there, and then it blows back on shore. You're getting blasted by what amounts to nature's chemical warfare. So they refer to it as the Fog 2025, by the way, which is a Stephen King book.
That's pretty funny.
Noor Al-Sabai put the article together for futurism.com. The taste of the air, the only word I can think of is toxic, is the deck statement. Yummy. Just makes you want to go out there and take a sample. So they say geoengineering, an umbrella term for experimental attempts to cool the planet, which is a real thing, though controversial and so far limited to small-scale tests, seems to be the biggest suspect for the conspiratorially minded. Well, a conspiracy is not a conspiracy theory is only a theory until there are facts discovered. So investigate and then change that from conspiracy theory to conspiracy fact. That's kind of how it works. And so be careful what you call it or who you call a conspiracy theorist. All they do is lack evidence, but where there's smoke, there's typically fire. What the flames are, you don't necessarily know just yet. And let's just say, look around. So according to Megan Tollefson, the Coastal Hazards Program leader at the National Weather Service office in Central Florida, the particles visible are the same sort of tiny water droplets that make up any kind of fog. If you shine, any kind of... that right there is a detractor to anything.
Exactly.
If you want authority, you don't go, if you shine, like, any kind of light into a fog, what you're actually seeing are very, very small water droplets, Anyway, so that's likely what people are seeing. No shit news at 7 o'clock Eastern. It's fog. Why does it smell like death warmed over kind of a thing, right? Anyway,
it shouldn't really have any smell to it at all.
If anything,
other than maybe just sea breeze or something.
It should smell like the ocean, right? If
it's what they're saying it is.
It shouldn't smell like a whale's butt crack. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh, for sure.
No, that actually, hold on. That's more of a spoiler alert, right? If you go down to Florida, and I just spoiled it for you. Never mind.
Luckily, so everybody else doesn't have to.
So the next article is over in WarCrafters. After years of running awkwardly close to the winter sale, the Steam Autumn Sale will start 2 months earlier this year. Valve announced the full roster of Steam sale dates and next fests for the second half of 2025, and it's made one big change. This year's Autumn Sale is going to kick off 2 months earlier than in its past years. So, boom. Andy Chalk over at PCGamer.com put the article together. The deck statement says Valve has made a big shift to the autumn sale dates to more evenly space out its big seasonal Steam sales. So now, Automation Fest will start in July 14th to the 21st. And it looks like there's only a week pause between various fests.
This is going to be quite the year.
Yeah, so the 2025 Steam Autumn Sale will be from September 29th to October 6th. And it says, please note this is a different time frame compared to previous autumn sales. Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah.
It's interesting because, like you said, there's one going almost every time.
Yeah, just throughout the whole year, there's something. I'm really curious what the beginning of the, like, they should have just posted a whole month, just augment it with the beginning months.
Yeah, I agree.
But this is second half, so July, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's a lot more on this article. Follow the link. The Steam Autumn Sale Moves is the title that I gave it, but the link will link you over to pcgamer.com. Let's keep going. Moving on. Next article is over in WarCrafters. I hope every RPG steals Avowed's brilliant inventory system. Now, I started watching people playing it because some people paid or were gifted codes to play Avowed. It doesn't actually release for another 4 days. And I'm not going to buy it either way. It's a single player game, and while it appears beautiful, I did want to talk about it at least. Apparently, Obsidian has hit it out of the park. The early reviews are in, and people are raving about it and how beautiful the whole thing really is. Obsidian's latest RPG, Avowed, is out now on Xbox and PC for those who pre-ordered the expensive fancy version. Something like $100 or $90 or something like that. I don't really know. But it's a $70 game. So I think it's $90 for the early. And it's a really good game. But one key thing that the author of this article over at Kotaku wanted to highlight is that RPG's inventory system and item management system, because it's really good and they want more games to copy it. Now, the things that I'm
sure Obsidian don't want people to copy it.
Yeah, but that's one of those things that can't be protected, right? Do you think?
Well, true. It's always nice when it's like that is an Avowed thing. You know what I mean? Like it usually takes on the name of the thing that inspired it.
Yeah, the Avowed inventory system. So what's really interesting about this is this looks a lot like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This interface.
Interesting.
Granted, Avowed's is more woo-woo, like ghostly and stuff, because I guess it has a lot to do with like souls being reborn and stuff like that. But KCD2 is medieval style. Zach Zweisen over at Kotaku.com put the article together.
Well, and so that is interesting, right? I don't know, like with the earlier release and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, even this whole thing looks just like KCD2.
Oh, okay.
And this for sure does. So I've loved watching everybody who's been playing it for the last 8 hours or so. Off and on, I've been able to take a break and look. So they say, sure, they'll freely admit that our RPG inventory system might not be the sexiest or coolest topic. I think it is, but is a very important part of the game. Features loot, potions, food, weapons, and gear. A bad inventory system can ruin a game. I agree, particularly when you have weight limits that are just gross. Like you barely can carry anything, or it's slot driven and you only have like 12 slots. But nothing stacks. So the moment you pick up 12 leaves, your inventory is full. I hate those games. This doesn't look like it. So they were happy to discover that Avowed avoids all of the annoying busy work with a streamlined and smart inventory system. The result is more enjoyable experience because you spend less time fussing about 400 items and more time doing stuff you actually want to do in a big RPG. There is a lot to this, but yeah, my observation of this is that it looks a lot like KCD2's, but just more fantastical.
Well, I like the idea that you're not going to get overloaded and you're not going to have to keep dealing with that.
And that's the key ingredient right there. Avowed food, potions, lockpicks don't weigh. They say weight anything. So consumables don't take up any space, don't weigh you down. Now, to a point, that's okay, but it avoids realism because food really is heavy, particularly liquids. But that's not the purpose of this game, because it is fantastical. So likewise, crafting and upgrade materials, iron, wood, furs, also weigh nothing. I never, in my 40 hours or so with Avowed, left a dungeon desperate to sell stuff in order to free up some inventory space. It's a common occurrence in many RPGs. It's because they want to impress a little bit of realism and slow down your loot goblin addiction. So it says, but funnily enough, never really liked that word, funnily.
Because it's an odd word.
You won't even have to do that, because you can always break down any weapon or piece of gear you find at any time and get its resources. So even if you are burdened by something, all you have to do is break it down. Then you can use those resources, which weigh nothing, to upgrade your equipped gear and make it better. It's wonderful, and I agree. I think it's a lot of fun. Love the idea of it, but I love multiplayer games. Even if I don't play multiplayer, I want the option to call somebody up, or text somebody and say, just log in, let's play the game. I think it would be a blast.
Will you be playing this?
No, not unless I get a free code, and I don't. I'm not big enough to do that, but I want to fight monsters, it says, meet new characters, explore strange lands, and save the day. And in fact, I would rather gift that code to other people that would play it, maniacally, because it would be fun to watch people that are passionate about this style of game, unless I have like base building, survival crafting kind of mechanics to it, like No Man's Sky or upcoming...
Right, or Light No Fire.
Yeah, Light No Fire is the new one that's coming. And countless others. I mean, there's just so many. I'm just not really that hip to it. So, but anyway, a lot of people are playing this right now, so that would be me if I could find my forever game. Come on, somebody develop my forever game.
Which is?
I don't know yet.
Minecraft plus something?
Minecraft and I don't know. I just don't know. Light No Fire might be.
Yeah, like that maybe.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Next article is over in the Marvel Channel. Disney Parks' most infamous earworm is getting its first extended cut, and I'm not sure what this is. What is the...
Oh, I know exactly what it is. I did look ahead, but I predicted it before I looked at it.
So It's a Small World?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there in the title. Not in the title, but in the little snippet. So in celebration of its 70th anniversary and to honor late composer Richard Sherman, Disney will add a brand new final verse to It's a Small World this summer. Sabina Graves over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement is what I just got done saying. So the earworm heard all around the small world within each global iteration of Disney Parks' classic boat ride is getting a massive change in time for Disneyland's 70th anniversary. I thought wasn't it just its 50th? Like not too long ago?
I think one was Disney World, and this is maybe Disneyland or vice versa. We did see something recently.
Like it's 50th, right?
Yeah, but I think it was the other park.
Interesting. Okay. The original attraction, It's a Small World, at the Anaheim, California park will be getting an extended cut of its theme song written by Richard Sherman before his passing last year. Sherman left the new verse for It's a Small World to Bob Iger in 2023 as a parting gift to the studio that changed his life as part of the Sherman Brothers. Along with his brother Robert, Richard Sherman was responsible for some of the most timeless Disney songs for films and Disneyland attractions, including Mary Poppins, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and of course, It's a Small World. Wow.
I mean, this is like on the engineering side or Imagineer side, right? The one person that's responsible for like everything for the company.
Particularly that, It's a Small World is everybody grows up hearing that, at least, within earshot of any Disney property. And by property, I mean the intro to Disney movies do that It's a Small World kind of a theme song. So it says, here's the video that Disney Studios released to honor Sherman with the added lyrics, which will be featured on the beloved attraction beginning July 17th, Disneyland's 70th birthday. So they're releasing it before the actual release. They're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Kind of sucking the wind out of the draw. But maybe people can't afford to go and people can't go or whatever, right? And they just want to spread this great new message. I'm not going to play it here. I'm going to let y'all follow the link. You can go through ohmTown, or you can just go over to YouTube and look for the last verse, Disney.
But it is surprising that they're doing it in advance.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the story of the song's new verse will be featured in another experience inside the Main Street Cinema, where park guests visiting the Disneyland's milestone anniversary can watch the short above as a tribute to the Sherman Brothers. And at the Main Street Opera House, park goers can explore a curated gallery dedicated to Disneyland's opening with art, artifacts, and images, some never before seen as well.
Well, that's cool. If you're in the area, you might want to go check it out.
Yeah.
But after May.
Yeah. Yeah. July 17th will also mark the arrival of Walt Disney animatronic that is set to be featured in a new show, Walt Disney: A Magical Life. To celebrate the moment, Imagineering will host an exhibit tracing the progress made with audio animatronics from the park's opening through to today. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. Next article is over in WarCrafters. 30 years ago, the Superb Owl halftime show was Indiana Jones?
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, I thought this one was interesting. Kendrick Lamar's riveting, incisive, Superb Owl performance is likely to go down in history for many reasons, not the least of which is that it was the most watched halftime show of all time. It was a sharp contrast against the Superb Owl entertainment interval used to look like. For instance, 3 decades ago, when it was devoted not to a blockbuster artist or a tribute to the host city's music scene, but instead to Indiana Jones.
I didn't know it was ever focused on a movie.
You know, there were people trying to protest it, and all that seemed to do is the Streisand effect, and more people watched it now than ever before. Although populations increase, but people watched it.
Oh, I thought you meant the thing that occurred during his performance. You mean about the whole event?
Yeah, protesting the Superb Owl. Yeah, and all it did was really backfire. More people paid attention to it. So Clayton Ashley over at Polygon.com put the article together, and it says the deck statement says this stunt spectacular belongs in a museum. And so there's a video here, Superb Owl 1995 halftime show, and I'm going to play it but mute it.
Have you seen this before?
I have never seen this in my life. Yeah, so it's the scene, it's basically a scene from Indiana Jones.
This is so odd.
Yeah, people are on stilts. There's a bunch of other people coming onto the field, dressed basically as characters from or just people from the Indiana Jones movie. Wow. So it says, let me give you some context. Their friend, the author's friends, and the author, recently tracked down decades worth of previous Superb Owl halftime shows on YouTube in order to rate and rank them for fun. They had a blast rediscovering shows they'd loved and watching performances that they'd never seen. They highly recommend getting a group of friends together to revisit them. Somehow, 2004 was even worse than they remember. Diana Ross leaves her performance in a freaking helicopter. But the Indiana Jones thing is from 1995. Indiana Jones stunt show now seems like an odd choice for the 1995 Superb Owl, especially since the franchise's third and at that time final movie hit the theaters in 1989, 6 years earlier. But Indiana Jones was a multimedia property in that era. 2 seasons of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles aired from 92 to 93, sometimes in the time slot right before Monday Night Football. So it was basically getting hammered.
Or cool. It was like a marketing nexus or something.
Yeah. That video is still going. It's 11 minutes.
I think I've seen enough.
That's how I walk. That's how I walk to work.
I'm sure.
That's how I walk around the mayoral mansion. Anyway, go over and check out the rest of this article. There's more there, but the nuts and bolts of it is that 30 years ago, the superb Owl halftime show was Indiana Jones' stunt show. All right. The sentient
Where do you
AI.
go from there?
Yeah, really. I don't know if it's up, down, sideways. It's more like a jump scare, I guess. I don't know. So ChatGPT for birdsong may shed light on how language is wired in the human brain. The article is over in the Mobile channel, but it's actually sourced from phys.org, I believe. Just like ChatGPT and other generative language models train on human text to create grammatically correct sentences, a new modeling method by researchers at Penn State trains on recordings of birds to create accurate bird songs. The results could improve understanding of the structure of birdsong and its underlying neurobiology, which could lend insight into the neural mechanisms of human language, the team said. A paper describing was published in the Journal of Neuroscience. Gail McCormick from Pennsylvania State University put this article together, and they had this really cool AI-generated image of mosaic birds singing, and it even has like a musical staff. I'm gonna blow it up so y'all can see it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's AI. So
that's really fascinating because it looks 3D, like at the edge of the tiles.
Oh yeah, that right there. It's really cool. I dig this. Unfortunately, you're not supposed to have a positive result when watching or looking at AI generated images because it's apparently wholesale theft of real art. But if nobody has done this, then I don't know how that actually, you know what I'm saying?
Right. The problem is nobody knows.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there's
Except
some artists.
If the artists out there, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be really curious to see if anybody can link me to this material, something even eerily similar. I haven't done a mosaic tile bird song.
I mean, 2 people can paint or tile the same kind of thing, and that's okay.
Sure. And the reason why people go, oh, they stole my artwork is sometimes it is wholesale stolen artwork. Like Disney took somebody's 3D made item and is selling it in their stores. And the person's like, trying to sue Disney is impossible. You can go and look it up on YouTube right now. Disney stole
you might have signed up for Disney Plus or something at one point.
And now you have to go into binding arbitration, regardless of the fact that, yeah, that's just wild. And nowadays, everybody is rejiggering their terms of use because now it's kind of Wild West. Well, anyway, much like how humans arrange words in a particular order to form grammatically correct sentences, birds tend to sing sets of notes called syllables in a limited number of combinations. Although much simpler, the sequence of bird song syllables are organized in a similar way to human language, so birds provide a good model to explore the neurobiology of language, says Desi Jin, associate professor of physics in the Eberly College of Science and lead author of the paper. How would you like to find out? Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, I just got an alert. How would you like to find out that birds have actually been talking to you?
Oh, that would be fascinating.
Yeah.
I think it might not just be birds.
Yeah. So for both humans and birds, finishing a sentence or song sequence often depends on what was already said. For example, the phrase flies like could be part of an analogy, as in the phrases time flies like an arrow, or an indication of enjoyment, fruit flies like bananas. However, it's eat shoots and leaves, that whole phrase.
Right, exactly.
However, mixing and matching what comes after flies like results in time flies like bananas or fruit flies like an arrow, which don't make sense, but that's not true. Fruit flies like an arrow could be the analogy for me throwing something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just not as natural, I guess, as the other one.
Yeah. So they say that the phrase flies like has what researchers call context dependence. So their AI basically is reviewing this to see if they can extract a type of syntax based on the context of musical notation.
Very interesting. I mean, they've already kind of decoded whale song, right?
Yep. The researchers analyzed previously recorded songs from 6 Bengalese finches, which sing about 7 to 15 syllables in each sequence. With the new method, the researchers can create the simplest models that accurately reflect the sequences that individual birds actually sing. The models are similar to large language models in that they depict probabilities of what words, or in this case syllables, are likely to follow a particular word syllable based on previously analyzed texts or song sequences. Yeah, and this is a Markov. It's a model of chains of events. The Markov model is a very well-known theory of things going from one
like
point to
predicting
another.
Sequences or something.
Yeah, and it's basically you can predict everything through a Markov model. So they are presented as a sort of flow chart that starts with a syllable that points to options for different syllables. And then basic Markov models are quite simple, but they tend to overgeneralize, meaning that it might result in sequences that don't actually exist. What I want them to do, though, is listen to the song and see what the bird does or what they can witness to see if that phrase of syllables actually translates into something.
Oh, yeah, that would be really neat to determine that.
Yeah, so from this final model, the researchers can see which syllables have context dependence.
So they should do another experiment where they, I don't know what finches like in particular, but like hold up an apple or something, or a leaf or whatever, and see what sound it makes, and then hold up a worm or something and see what sound it makes.
Yeah, does it do that though? I mean,
I have no idea.
You talk to a cat or dog.
To test it.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And that's what I was saying. Yeah. Listen to the song and see what it does. And maybe that actually means its intentions. I'm looking for a mate and the mate shows up. That song that it sings there may be more to it, that
sure,
it's not just singing to let the world know. It's singing to tell a bird, come over to my place. It's tweeting a booty call. Never mind. Anyway, we're going to fly back home, and that's going to land us back at the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and read all of the news. The site should be faster. There's going to be a lot less content in a particular domain. And we hope that you enjoy the site. Let us know if you have any sources that you would like to have aggregated. We don't screen scrape or anything like that. It's all provided by the sources without any negative impact on them. And we aggregate just a tiny little snippet like I've been displaying here for the last hour. So go over and check it all out. You can leave comments embedded in the site, or you can go over to Discord and join any of the channels there and have conversations with anybody else that might be there. I don't really use the Discord, but I should. I know that's kind of one of my failings. So if you are interested in hanging out there and here and over on YouTube and the podcasts and everywhere, TikTok until it
Twitch.
Actually... Well, Twitch, yeah. Oh, I said here because I was looking at the Twitch screen. So, at any rate, I'm going to get out of here and y'all can enjoy the rest of your night. I am Mayor Watt, and I'm taking the AI with me.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for today's Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode.
See you soon. Yeah. What is it? Senegalese? Is that, wait, what was the bird?
Senegalese finch,
No,
think?
Bengalese finch.
Okay. Sorry, you said Senegalese, so I went with that.
Yeah. I'm a liar. No, just kidding. See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.